Today we are going to do corporate lending. Corporate lending. You all know what is the meaning of corporate customers, the big customers. And we also call them as wholesale banking. So we are going to do how to evaluate credit requirement of a corporate customer. Corporate lending we are going to do. Commercial enterprises, when we call commercial enterprises, there are different types of commercial enterprises. So we can classify them based on their asset value, turnover, number of employees of the enterprise. Based on that one, we can classify them. Classify the commercial enterprises. One category is small and medium scale businesses. Small and medium scale business, commercial businesses. So ownership of this type of businesses may be sole proprietorship or maybe partnership, and even some small private companies will come under this category, small and medium scale businesses. This, of course, the credit evaluation of the requirement of small and medium scale enterprises, we have already seen when we are doing consumer credit evaluation, the 5 C's method, and we can add one more C, we can make it as 6C, that is cash flow. In the case of if it is a small and medium scale business, there are already 5 C's method for the consumer credit. If you can add one more C, 6 C's, then it can be a credit evaluation for small and medium scale businesses also. This we have seen already. And Campari, parser, papers, these are certain tools we have studied for the credit evaluation of consumer credit evaluation, and same thing we can apply for small and medium scale businesses also. So for you to do it in a systematic way, the credit evaluation, for you to do the credit evaluation in a systematic way, rather than doing haphazardly here, there, instead of that one, in an orderly orderly manner, for you to do the credit evaluation. And then this is small and medium scale businesses. And then large scale commercial enterprises. This we can categorize into corporate businesses. That's what we are going to do today. Corporate businesses. These are large private and public companies and corporations come under this category. And this large scale commercial enterprises, there one category is corporate businesses, and there is another one, other large scale companies. Conglomerates, there is a term used, conglomerates. These are group of companies in different industries in a country. So group of companies. So there may be a parent company. Then there are subsidiary companies or associate companies where the parent company has the shareholding. These are group of corporates. Example, you can see in Sri Lanka, Haley's. Haley's is a big, well-reputed group of companies. John Keel's. And similarly, there are so many other companies. Group of companies. So there is a particular term for that one, conglomerates. Right. And then multinational, international, or transnational companies. Another category. Corporate companies, conglomerates, and there is another category, multinational, international, or transnational companies. What are these companies? Corporates established in more than one country. Corporates established in more than one country. So these are, we call multinational companies or international or transnational companies. So in the case of corporate companies or conglomerates or multinational companies, when they make a request for the credit facilities, how are we going to evaluate that one? What is the method for us to do in a systematic way the credit evaluation? That's what we are going to do today. Corporate credit analysis. Actually, we are assessing the risk. risk assessment. When we try to give any facilities to them, we are going to assess the risk assessment, that is corporate credit analysis. It is a complex subject. Large number of elements to be compared. Actually, corporate credit analysis, you have to analyze so many elements, so many things you have to. So, there's an example now, chain. We are wearing chain. So, in the chain, there are so many links. That makes the chain. In the chain, there are so many links. All the links may be strong, but when one link is weak, what will happen when you stretch the chain may break. Similarly, in the corporate credit analysis also, there are so many elements you have to analyze. When you are analyzing all the elements, all the things you are analyzing may be strong, but when one item, if it is weak, if you neglect that one, then what will happen? There may be a failure. So, when you are doing the analysis, you have to be very careful, analyze all the elements involved in this corporate credit analysis thoroughly, and you must make it sure. So, that's what we say, complex subject, large number of elements to be compared. Credit analysis is like a chain being stretched. Each link in the chain represents an element in the analytical framework. There may be stronger links, but when the weakest link gives away, the chain will snap. So you have to be very careful. Links in the credit chain. So what are the important elements in the corporate credit analysis? One is the environment and the industry, competitive position of your company, of the corporate within that industry, then the financial risk of this your customer, the corporate company, corporate customer, then the management of the corporate customer, and finally credit structure and collateral quality of the yes. So these are the important links or the elements in the credit chain, corporate credit evaluation. Actually, there are altogether 5 chains, five links, 5 elements: the environment, the industry, the competitive position, financial risk, management, credit structure, and collateral quality. These are 5. So we call it 5-pillar evaluation. 5 pillars evaluation. Actually 6. Actually there are 6. But the first one, the environment, is common to a country. Then the industry where your customer is working is also common to the country. So these 2 elements we are taking together. Though there are 6 items, there are 6 items. The first one, environment, and the industry is a common to the country. The other one, that is competitive position, financial risk, management, credit structure, and collateral quality, all these are specific to your customer. Specific to your customer you are analyzing. The first 2 items, the environment and the industry, is a common to the country. So we make it as a 5 pillars analysis. We call it as a 5 pillars analysis. It's a reputed term. When we do the corporate credit analysis, we call it 5-pillar analysis. Okay, but anyway, there are 6 elements. Right. Evaluation of the environment. First, of course, evaluation of the environment. And there is another term for this one, country risk. So, because it is for the country, entire country. It is for the entire country. So, when a foreign company, when they want to come and invest in Sri Lanka, first, of course, they do a country environment analysis. That is, country risk analysis they will do. Whether they can come and do a business in this country. Whether it is conducive for them to do it successfully. So, we call it country risk. So, what are the? Popularly, this environment analysis or the country risk analysis called as PESTEL analysis. What is this? Political and regulatory, then economic analysis, then social analysis, then technological analysis, then ecological analysis, and finally legal analysis. So when we say political, PESTEL, pestle analysis, popularly known as it is the pestle analysis, which is the country risk analysis or the country's environment analysis. Political regulatory analysis. So here, how the political situation or the regulatory measures in the country for the business. Yes. Government. Whether there are any restrictions for businesses, whether there are any licenses for certain businesses, you have to obtain licenses. So the license requirement, depending on the industry, whether licensing is necessary. So you must see that one. Government restriction. Like similarly, that is something example, licenses. Whether there are any government restriction for any particular industry or business. Then, other governments impose import quotas or tariff on products or non-tariff barriers. Now, when you import certain item from certain country, there are barriers. We call them tariff barriers and non-tariff barriers. When we import certain items into this our country from some other country, there are barriers. We call them tariff barriers or non-tariff barriers. Tariff barriers mean duties and etc. Duties. Non-tariff barriers mean the quality of the product to be imported. So these barriers. Similarly, when we export to other countries, in those countries, whether there are, how is the barriers? Whether there are tariff barriers or non-tariff barriers, and how they impose duties, tariffs, duties. So you have to see that one. You have to analyze that one. Then, government grants or subsidies available. So in our country, for certain industries, whether any subsidies are available, whether government is giving any grants. So if the government is promoting that industry by giving subsidies, by giving grant, it is beneficial for that industry. You have to analyze. Similarly, when you export in those countries, also there may be industries similar to our one. In those countries also, whether such incentives are there, subsidies or grants, whether those governments are granting. So that's what government grants or subsidies available compared to those available in the global market. Compare those available in the global market. For an example, in our country, for a particular industry, government is giving some subsidy or the grants to promote that industry. For same industry in Vietnam, also the Vietnam government may give incentives by way of subsidies or grants. If the Vietnam government giving that subsidy or grant is more than the other one, they are beneficial. In the international market, global market, their cost of production will be low than our one. So they can compete very well in the global market. Why? They are getting better subsidies, better grants from their government. So you must see that one. Government grants or subsidies available compared to those available in the global market. Duties or taxes on products. This already I have told you. You have to see when you import, there are barriers, tariff barriers, non-tariff barriers. In the case of tariff barriers, how is the duties or taxes on the imports? And similarly, for the exports also, there may be barriers. So you must see that one, taxes on export, whether there is export duties, export taxes are there, you have to analyze. Then the regulatory environment. So regulatory environment means then customer protection. or safety measures to be taken by those industries. So that will be imposed by the government, regulatory requirement imposed by the government. That is safety measures, consumer protection, etc., etc. Apart from that, there are free trade agreements between the governments. Actually, our government has many free trade agreements with the SAARC countries, with India, with Pakistan, with the other SAARC countries. Our country has the trade agreement for the import as well as the export. For certain imports, we will consider duty-free, tax-free, or lesser taxes, lesser duties. Similarly, when we export, those importing countries like India or Pakistan, there are also, yes, relaxation of taxes and duties. So through the free trade agreement, so you have to analyze all these things in the case of political and regulatory environment in regard to your customer's industry. Your customer, corporate customer, is operating in an industry, he wants the facility, so you have to. In the pestle analysis, the first one, political or the regulatory environment, you will analyze in regard to your customer's industry. How the political environment, regulatory environment, it is conducive or it is prohibitive based on the government restriction, licenses, the import quotas, the tariffs, non-tariff barriers. When we say the non-tariff barriers, it is a quality. It is a quality. You may know, actually, even our fish export to European Union, it was stopped by saying poor quality. You may be aware, this has happened recently. Export to European Union, it was stopped for some time because of the quality, poor quality. Whether it is true or not, that is something else, but based on that one. Similarly, I can say you one of the best exporter of ornamental plants, they exported item to Japan. When the container load has reached Japan port, there they have found some insects. There they have found some insects in the exported container load of ornamental plants. What happened? They stopped. They didn't allow the container to enter into the country. They actually destroyed the whole thing on the basis of quality. Same thing happened to even Australia. Even a passenger can't take any of the food item with them. Now, because on the quality basis, they are prohibiting. You can't. So on the basis of quality, the tariff barriers. So all these things you have to analyze in the political law regulatory requirement. Then the economic environment. How the industry or company affected by, there are three basic things. One is the interest rate, another one fluctuating foreign exchange rate, high inflation rate. Now these three economic factors, one is the interest rate, foreign exchange rate, and the inflation rate, you have to analyze in the case of economic environment for a particular industry or for a business. Now, interest rate. If the interest rate is high, what will happen? Obviously, cost of production will also be high. Right. Now, if it is in Sri Lanka, if the interest rate is high, when compared to some other country, maybe say Vietnam. In Vietnam, compared to Sri Lanka, if the interest rate is low, what will happen? Their cost of production will be lower than this cost of production in Sri Lanka, because in Sri Lanka the interest rate is high, whereas in Vietnam the interest rate is low. So these people, the industrial, they will borrow for their production activities, and in that case, so cost of production in Vietnam for a particular item may be lower than Sri Lankan cost of production. So in the international market or global market, what will happen? They are very competitive because they can offer a better price than Sri Lanka. So you must see that one. How is the interest rate? It will affect the cost of production. Then, fluctuating foreign exchange rate. Actually, the foreign exchange rate should be stabilized. It will be reasonably, it is stabilized over a period of time. If it is always fluctuating, what will happen? The industrialists can't decide their cost of production or what price they can sell their product. Because most of the, or some of the industries, they are importing their raw materials. Or most of the industries, they are importing their raw material. So they, based on the price of the raw material, they calculate and they offer the price for their export or for the market to sell their product. They offer the price based on the cost of the production, which is based on the import cost of raw material. If there is fluctuating, you won't be able to you won't be able to decide your cost of production, because you don't know at the next moment what will happen. So because of that one, that is affecting the industries, which is the fluctuating foreign exchange rates. So for a successful industry in a country, the foreign exchange rate should be stabilized over a period of time. Then the inflation rate. High inflation rate. We all know the inflation means increase in prices, general increase in prices. So it is there. Obviously, in any country, the inflation is there. It is slightly increasing over a period of time. If there is a sudden increase, so very high inflation rate, what will happen? All the things will be increase in prices. Even raw material will increase, electricity will increase, water cost will be increasing, that is utility will be increasing, and labor cost will be increasing. So what will happen? Ultimately, the cost of production also will increase. If you take in other countries, say Vietnam, if the inflation rate is low, their cost of production will be lower than ours. So in the global market, they will be very competitive. So because of that one, so you have to think about that one also. That is, these three factors. One is the interest rate, fluctuating foreign exchange rate, high inflation rates are detrimental. So you have to think about it when you are doing the analysis. Economic analysis, economic environment analysis. Then there is another important factor. Just I'm going to use the board. I'm going to use the board, please. Now, how cyclical is the industry? Now, this is period. We say GDP, gross domestic product. Here it is positive, here it is negative. Period, maybe years. The businesses or the industries, they won't be static always. There are ups and downs. Businesses or the industries operation, they are not static always. There's a up and down. So maybe some industries, it is growing, that is increasing the GDP, it is growing. Going, it may go to a top. So this one we call it boom of the business or boom of the industry. So it is not always going up. No. Maybe after some time it may come down. We call it recession. Recession. Then again it may go up. We call it recovery. Again, it may go up, boom, and it may come. Sometimes it may go down further. And again, go up. This one we call depression. This one we call depression. This is business cycle. Business cycle or the industrial cycle. How cyclical is the industry? We don't lack in the economic cycle. So now, in our country, in all the countries, it is there. In all the countries, the business is not static. It is cyclic. It is going up and down. In our country, it is cannot be seen very clearly. But in other countries, developed countries, you can see it very clearly. In Western America or Canada, in Europe countries, you can see it very clearly. And the eminent economists, they predict. Now, coming years is going to be difficult. There may be a recession. They predict. And they predict there may be a depression. They predict. The eminent economics in those developed countries, they predict. So now, when it is boom, what will happen? The GDP is maximum. GDP is maximum. So the growth, it is the economic growth. Economic growth, it is positive. Positive growth. Growth rate is increasing. Growth is positive and growth rate is increasing. So during that time, what will happen in those countries? More and more industries will operate. More and more companies will operate. More and more people will be employed. So more and more people will spend money in purchasing. So it is going toward boom. Then after reaching the maximum, what happened? It's coming down. That is, economic growth, it is positive, but it is retarding. It is retarding. It is decreasing. Economic growth rate is decreasing. We call it recession. During that time, some of the inefficient companies may close down. Some of the inefficient companies may close down. So since they are closing down, people may unemployed. There may be unemployment, and people won't spend much money on their purchasing. People won't spend much money on their purchasing. So this will happen during the recession. Now you understand the difference between boom and recession. And then again it is recovering. And then again it is recovering. What will happen? Yeah, again the growth, GDP growth, it is positive and it is increasing. Growth rate is increasing. So during that time, what will happen? Again, more and more companies will be functioning, more and more employment, people increase, the people expenditure will increase. So it is recovery. Again, boom. Then again, declining, recession. And it may recover and go sometime. It may go further down. That is, coming GDP is negative. GDP is negative. And the growth rate is reducing negative. Negative. During that time, more and more companies will close down. More and more people will be unemployed. And people won't spend much money. They are spending money only for very, very essential things. So this is the case. So why you have to understand this one? If you are an exporter, if your customer is an exporter to a country like that, so what is the beneficial time for the good import? That is boom and recovery. Those are the time. And other time also they will, but not much. So you have to understand this situation. So as a banker, what is the best time for you to grant facilities? More and more facilities is the recovery time. the recovery time, because more and more companies are working, more operating, more and more people are working, employed. So recovery time. So you have to understand. So if your customer is an exporter, to which country he is exporting, so there how is this business cycle situation you must know for you to make your decision or analyze the risk factors, economic environment. So how cyclical is the industry? Lead or lag in the economic, yes. And then how price elastic are the industry's product? So your customers' products, how they are price elastic. Because when the price is going up, how much they can sell. When the price is coming down, how much they can sell. So you can decide based on that one, you must do the economic environment analysis. Then the social environment. This is also important thing. Whether the industry is inherent, stable, or affected positively or negatively by the change in social taste or fashion. Fashion go out as well as coming. So the social environment or the cultural environment you have to analyze. Now, particularly, these are in the garment industries or jewelry industries and footwear industries. So these are the industries mainly affected by these fashions. Now, certain fashion, now you can see the people wearing the clothes and garment people are wearing. They are not wearing all similar type of clothes always, no. It is changing. The style changing, the fashion is changing, the fashion is changing. So you must know that one. Similarly, the jewelry. In the case of garment, if they have manufactured certain item on a particular fashion, if the fashion goes out, then they are unable to sell those items. They have to, so obsolete item that will become. They won't be able to sell those items. Similarly, in the case of jewelries, of course, actually the golden or silver jewelries, you can change and make it to another design. But in the case of other type of jewelries, you can't do it. They will get affected. So the social environment also, you have to analyze how the social environment affect your customer's particular industry. Then the technological environment. This is the very important thing in the present stage. Production process. Has there been fundamental change in the cost structure or manufacturing of the product? Has there been fundamental change in the cost structure of manufacturing the product? Whether the product is obsolete. Now, a good example, I always say, very simple example, the paddy milling. Paddy milling example. Earlier, paddy mill, they were using the hullers, that is to remove the outer husk. They were using the huller. There are iron rollers. There were iron rollers. So when you put the paddy to remove the outer cover, that is the huller, it is removing, but at the same time, it is breaking the rice also. So the wastage of rice, that is with a small particle, the wastage of rice is high. So one is quality is affected, quality of the rice is affected, and even the quantity also got affected earlier with the iron rollers in the hullers. Right. Then there was a technological improvement came in. Actually, that was introduced by Japan first. What happened? They used the rubber rollers. So when the rubber rollers are used in the hullers, the damage is less, or no damage, or less damage, and the quality of the rice also good. So what happened? Those hullers, iron roller hullers were outdated, and the rubber roller hullers actually they came into the market. So at that time, so many paddy mills in Sri Lanka, they were using these modern hullers. So earlier paddy millers were outdated. They couldn't sell their product. They had to close down. So this is a technical improvement. So one example. Similarly, so many products you can see in the market now. Earlier, when you go to an office, you can see the typewriters. Typewriters, of course, later no use. Then technological improvement. What happened? Electronic typewriters came. Okay. Again, technological improvement. Desktop came. Again, technological improvement. Now the laptop. All the typing, everything is done by the laptop. So technological improvement, certain products are going obsolete, outdated through the technological improvement. So similarly, that's what even the car market. Earlier, we were using the British cars or Italian or German cars. Actually, what Japan did, technological improvement. Fuel usage is very efficient fuel usage. And cost of the product also came down because of the technological innovation by the Japanese. So Japanese car came into the market. All English cars and everything vanished from the market. Technological improvement. Even in the financial industry, there are so many technological improvement. One example, earlier, when we go out of the country on tourism or any purpose, we take the traveler checks. We take the traveler checks those days when we go out. So we pay our local money, get the traveler checks in pounds or in US dollars when we are visiting other countries. What happened? So there was a very reputed company called as Thomas Cook. They were very reputed on this traveler check business. And later what happened? All these credit card came in, ATM card came in. We are not taking the traveler checks. We go and manage our businesses with the credit card and the debit card. Even the Thomas Cook company went bankrupt. But now again they are coming up with new management. So see the technological environment. So you have to analyze for your customer's product whether there will be any technological improvement which may affect your customer's product. You have to do the analysis. Technological environment. And the ecological environment. Ecology means our environment, physical environment, that is water, air, soil, etc., etc. This is our, and plants and animals, fauna and flora. Fauna and flora. Fauna, sorry. I use the board. Soil, water, air, fauna, flora. Flora means plants. Fauna means animals. So ecological environment for the industry. How is the ecological environment for the industries? Whether the industry affects the ecology or the ecology is affecting the industry. Both you have to see. So we generally say green issues. Yeah, maybe green issues. That is industries record and pollution. The industries can pollute the ecology. Industry can pollute the ecology, environment, ecological environment. We call it environmental pollution. So there may be air pollution, there may be water pollution, there may be noise pollution, etc., etc. You must see whether this particular industry affects the ecological environment, whether there could be a pollution. You have to see. Similarly, even the ecology is conducive for the industry. Ecological environment is conducive for the environment. Both ways you have to see. Air pollution, water pollution, even the noise pollution. Now, noise pollution may due to sawmills, timber sawmills, due to that one, yes. Even many other industries can create the noise pollution. There are scientific method, technological method to reduce the noises also, that had to be done. This environmental pollution, you may aware, in Kambah district some time back, there was a blouse factory. Their wastewater, after processing the wastewater, went out and polluted the waterways. People were drinking waters from the river or lake. So those waterways were polluted. Then people complained. So there were certain things happened in Kambah district. You may be aware. And another good example, it is in India. Maybe I would have told you, I think. A particular industry there is the fabric making industry is there. There is a industry, another industry, that is dyeing industry, that is coloring the fabrics. Fabrics are made and then sent for coloring, that is dyeing purposes, to another industry. So this dyeing industry is full of chemicals. They use chemical to dye the fabrics. After doing dyeing, this wastewater was allowed. Just they have allowed. It went and polluted. All waterways, lakes, ponds, rivers, wells, polluted. People were using those water. People were using the water, and for their bathing and drinking purposes, and for their animals, they couldn't use. Some animals died also. Then in the public interest, somebody has filed a case against the dyeing industry. The court heard the case and they ordered immediately to stop that operation of those dyeing factories. And they gave 6 months time for them to install necessary machineries to purify the wastewater, and then to allow. They gave 6 months time. Okay, after 6 months time, some people have done it as per the court order. Some people didn't follow it up. Court ordered to demolish those factories. So government officers went with big machineries like JCB and like that, and they went and demolished those factories which didn't adhere to the court order. So these are happening. Ecological environment. So you also have to think about it while doing this, your evaluation, credit evaluation for the big industries. So in our country, approval from the environmental authority is a must. Central Environmental Authority, CEA, approval the particular industry has to obtain. So this is ecological environment. You have to do the analysis. In the legal environment, companies in certain industry exposed to lawsuits. Yes, certain industries, there can be cases, legal cases, lawsuits. People can file cases against those companies. One is product liability claims. Pharmaceutical companies, especially in the case of pharmaceutical companies. Certain products may be low standard or not acceptable. So people can file cases A good example, the Pfizer pharmaceutical company, a world reputed company from Germany. Even they have manufactured this COVID-19 vaccine also. They have manufactured this COVID-19 vaccine also, yes. So they are very reputed pharmaceutical company. Many medicines they are producing, they are manufacturing all over the world. Globally, they are reputed. So they have manufactured a tablet for the condition, for the health condition called depression. Depression is a abnormal condition, is a condition because the people affected with the depression may thinking and yes, anxiety, thinking and depression. So doctors used to prescribe medicine for them to come out of this depression. So any medicine, it is used to treat certain health condition. It may have the side effects also, but generally the treating purposes are better and more than the side effects. Okay, so this particular medicine they have manufactured for treating depression. It has a side effect, creating a tendency for committing suicide. This tablet given for depression, manufactured by Pfizer International, it has a side effect, that is, it has a side effect creating a tendency to commit suicide. Right. So one fellow was using, and after some time he committed suicide. Then, so nobody knows, but his wife has come to know there is a condition like this. This medicine had a side effects like that. She filed the case. She filed the case in a court of law. So court was hearing. Then the Pfizer International looked, it's a big problem. It will affect their reputation. If the case is going on, if the lady proves it has a side effect of this committing suicide, then they negotiated with the lady. Outside the court, they have given a big amount of money and settled the case and settled outside. So the lady also thought big money is better than the husband. So she accepted the money and withdrew the case. So product liability claim. So this one example. Then passenger liability claims, like airlines, passengers can file cases against the airline companies. Then pollution claims, chemical companies, as I told you little while ago, like this, chemical used for dyeing the fabric, chemical companies, the pollution claim. And similarly, employee death or accident claim. This is accident-prone company. They are accident-prone company. Certain companies, the people have to be very, very careful when they are working on those machineries. If there is a slight absent-minded, then either their arm or some part of the body may go, or sometimes there may be death also. Accident-prone companies. So there could be legal or lawsuits against those companies. So when you are doing evaluation, you must look at this thing in legal environment, whether your customer corporate company may be affected by these things. You have to see. But only thing can be mitigated through insurance. So they can obtain the insurance against these accidents, chemical, these lawsuits. They can obtain insurance. They can cover it. Yeah. That you have to think about it as a credit officer. You have to legal environment. So this is, we have completed the environment. That is pestle analysis, political or regulatory analysis, the economical analysis, social or cultural analysis, technological analysis, ecological analysis, and finally, legal analysis. So this is, and as I told you earlier, it's a country risk, So it is for a particular country. It is any company or any corporate or any industry operating within this country. This is common. This is common. Even a company coming from some foreign company, if they want to come in Sri Lanka to invest and do business, they also do this analysis. They also have to. This is environment analysis. Okay, I hope it will be very clear to you. When you do the corporate credit analysis, the environment analysis, you have to. Then the industry evaluation. So when you see the industry evaluation, this is also common for the industry within the country. So this is also common for the industry. So if your customer is operating in an industry, say furniture manufacturing industry, yes, how is the furniture manufacturing industry in Sri Lanka? Or if your customer is operating in the biscuit industry, how the biscuit industry in Sri Lanka, you have to analyze. If your customer is manufacturing, footwears, the footwear industry, then you have to analyze how the footwear industry in Sri Lanka. Similarly, so industry evaluation. How is the particular industry of your customer? Customer is operating in an industry in this country. So industry evaluation you have to do. So especially in the industry evaluation, you have to see how competitive the industry is. How competitive the industry. Why it is how competitive? If the competition is very stiff within the industry, all the companies operating within the industry, they fight. They fight because there is very high competition. They fight for their market shares. The best company will have a better market share. The best company within the industry can have a better profit. The best company within the industry, as they have a better profit, they are in a better position to pay their facilities. If the weakest company within the industry, they have a very, very small market share. They make a small profit or sometimes make loss. Because of that one, they won't be able to pay their loans. So because of that one, the industry evaluation is also important. You must see how competitive the industry, how the competition is within the industry, how the competition is within the industry, and your customer, we are within the industry. But before that, you must see do the industry evaluation. The industry identification. Strength and weakness of the industry affects in the strength and weakness of the individual company. So if the industry, the strength and weakness of the industry will affect your customer also. Okay, now we are going to analyze certain things within the industry. Any industry will have a supply chain. You take any industry, it will have a supply chain. What is a supply chain? The supply chain means from the raw material up to the end product, how it is going. The supply chain means of an industry. Each industry, whatever the industry, each industry will have a supply chain. So that means from the raw material till the end product, how this material is going on. So start from the raw material supplier of the raw material to the industry. Then it will move to, there may be an intermediate processor. And then it will go to the manufacturer. From the manufacturer, it goes into the wholesaler. From the wholesaler, it goes into the retailer. From the retailer, it goes to the ultimate end user. So this is the supply chain. For an example, Now, manufacturer of wooden furnitures, manufacturing, wooden furniture manufacturing industry. We see the supply chain, wooden furniture manufacturing industry. We see the supply chain. It starts from raw material supplier. Who is the raw material supplier? Timber supplier. Who cut the timber and supply the timber as a whole. Then who is the next person? Intermediate processor. So in this case, intermediate processor is the sawmill operator. He buys the timber, bring to a sawmill, cut into pieces, planks and other things from which somebody can manufacture furniture. So intermediate processor is the person who is operating the sawmill. Then from the sawmill, the manufacturer of the wooden furniture manufacturer purchase the necessary planks and pieces, everything, and manufacture the wooden furniture. He is the manufacturer. And then he will give it to the wholesaler. And the wholesaler will give it to the retailer. And from the retailer, the consumers will buy those furnitures. So this is the supply chain for the wooden furniture manufacturing industry. This is the supply chain. So here the in this one, each person is in a different level. Each person in different level. Raw material supplier, one level, that is from the start. And then intermediate processor, next level. And the manufacturer, next level. And the wholesaler, next level. Retailer, next level. Finally, the end user. So different levels in the supply chain. We call it different levels in the supply chain. Okay. Then in the supply chain, there can be integration. The supply chain, there can be integration. What is the meaning of integration? There can be integration in the supply chain. Now, the manufacturer of the wooden furniture manufacturer, he is buying his the planks and poles, so timber poles or timber planks and everything from the intermediate processor for the purpose of manufacture. If we thought I am purchasing this item from this intermediate processor, instead of that one, if I have my own sawmill, I can produce these pieces and I can use it for my manufacturing. Then I can save money. Because at that one, my profit will increase rather than buying from this particular intermediate processor. So he is establishing his own, the manufacturer of the wooden furniture manufacturer, he is establishing his own intermediate processing, that is the timber sawmill he is establishing on his own. So from this level, manufacturing level, he is expanding his business to the sawmill operation also. This is called as integration. This is called as integration. Similarly, the manufacturer thinks, I am giving my product to this particular wholesaler. Instead of giving to him, if I have my own wholesale point, I can make more profit. So the manufacturer, rather than giving his product to the wholesaler, another wholesaler, he is expanding his business to his own wholesale. He is expanding to establish his own wholesale. So from manufacturing level, he is going to the wholesaling. This is also integration. First one, from the manufacturing level going back and establishing sawmill operation, we call it backward integration. And from the other one, from the manufacturing level, going forward and establishing wholesale point is forward integration. So there is two ways, backward integration and forward integration. So this one commonly we call it as vertical integration. It is commonly we call it as vertical integration. The meaning of vertical integration is from one level expanding the business to the next level. Expanding the business to the next level in the supply chain, from one level expanding this business to the next level is called as vertical integration. If he goes backward, it is backward integration. If he goes forward, it is forward integration. Okay, now, so what brings this integration to this operator? What brings this? What brings the integration? What brings to this operator? It brings, what is it? More profit. Instead of, now earlier he was doing manufacturing, but now he is doing intermediate processing. So thereby he is saving money, he is getting the profit, and now he is going forward, wholesale business. So there also he is make profit. So it is increase in the profit. It is increase in the profit. So by increase in the profit, they are very competitive with their competitors. Because this person who is integrating businesses, they are making big profit than their competitors who are not integrating. So these people, the people who have integrated, will have the market leadership. They will dictate the price. They are very competitive. So this integration bring them competitive position. They are very competitive by way of integration. Now we move on. So this is how you can read and see backward integration, forward integration, right? Then this is the vertical integration. Raw material supplier, intermediate processor, manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer. Now the manufacturer is going backward as intermediate processing, going forward as wholesaler. So integration, backward and forward integration. We call it vertical integration. Similarly, there is a horizontal integration also. What is horizontal integration? The manufacturer, now the manufacturer of timber furniture manufacturer, he is operating in Moratuwa, big factory. Now he is expanding to Anuradhapura, and he is expanding to Kandy, the same operation. So this is from the same level in the supply chain. From the same level, it is expanding to other areas by way of branches or by way of subsidiaries. They are expanding to the other areas in the same level of the supply chain, expanding to the other areas, called as horizontal integration. This horizontal integration also will bring profit to the integrator. This horizontal integration also bring profit to the integrator, integrating company. Whether it is vertical integration or whether it is horizontal integration, it will bring more profit to the integrating company. So because of that more profit it brings, they are very competitive in the market, in the industry. They are very competitive when compared to the companies which are not integrating. Since they are very competitive, they have the market leadership. They can dictate the price. They will fix the price, whereas others can't compete with them. So this integration will bring competitive position to the particular customer. This is horizontal integration. So now, I want to ask some of the participants. Can you give me some examples of these integration companies in Sri Lanka? Can you name me some companies which are integrated? Somebody, please. Can you give some names of companies whether they are who are integrated by horizontal integration or by vertical integration? Can you give me some examples? Participants? I am asking you only in Sri Lanka.
Cargills and Kissed.
Sorry?
Cargills and Kissed.
I couldn't, it's not clear. Please repeat it once again.
Cargills and Kissed.
Sorry, that name is not, please just, can you, once again, could you please tell me? Hello? What's the name, please? Just, no, the industry, the company's name? Hello?
Cargills.
Sorry?
Cargills.
Cargills. Yeah, yes, very good. Cargills. Very good. Cargills, yes. Right. Which way? Horizontal or vertical? Which way?
Horizontal.
Okay, horizontal, because they are having their branches everywhere in Sri Lanka. Everywhere, from north to south, from east to west, they have everywhere. Most of the places they have. Yes, very good. Yeah, horizontal. But don't you think they are integrated vertically also? Vertically? You have visited, you used to go to Cargill Food City? And you used to see the product label, manufactured by whom? Yes? Cargill Food City, anybody going to Cargill Food City? Their meat products, sausages, meat products. So there are various meat products by Bhairav, by Prima, their meat products are there. So even, yes? Even vertically also they have integrated. They have a meat processing plant in Jayala where they process the meat and manufacture the meat products. Those meat products are available in the Cargill Food City. So that is also...
All the supermarkets are doing same thing, no?
Sorry?
All the supermarkets, even Keels and Apico also doing same thing.
Same thing, that's right.
They are vertically expansion in the business.
Sorry, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they are expanding. That is the vertical integration.
Vertical, yeah, vertical.
Vertical integration, yes. That is even Apico, so many items, rubber items, so many items, they are manufacturing. That is vertical integration. And they are selling their supermarkets. Vertical integration. Yes, that is vertical integration. Yes, sorry. Okay, now this is Cargill supermarket and then Apico supermarket, right? They and John Keels also like that. Okay, vertical integration and horizontal integration. Any other good example? Vertical and
DSI, horizontal integration. DSI.
Sorry, what is it?
DSI. DSI.
Okay, DSI, Samsung Industries. Am I correct?
Mass holding.
Yes.
Sorry?
Mass holding. Mass.
Yeah, okay, mass holding. Yes, which way? Which way they have integrated?
Horizontal. Then also vertical there.
Horizontal, which they have branches. They have
Yeah,
branches?
Mawatagama. Yeah, Mawatagama Kuliyapiti also.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, fine, yeah. And another good. This is furniture manufacturers. What is it? What is their name? The famous
Damro.
Huh?
Damro.
Damro. They also another good example, vertically as well as horizontally. They also another Damro. Yes. Anyway, good. Thank you very much. Thank you. So this integration, whether it is vertical or horizontal, that will be the companies which are integrating vertically or horizontally, they get more and more profit. Their profit will increase. So they are very competitive within the industry. So because within the industry, we have to analyze the competitive situation. We have to analyze. Now, competitiveness of the industry, there is another analysis. We call it Professor Michael Porter's 5 competitive forces. Professor Michael Porter's 5 competitive forces to analyze the competition within the industry. What is this 5? What are these 5 competitive forces? 5, yes. Now, the industry. Within the industry, you can observe, within the industry, there are buyers' rivalry. Buyers, shall make a wrong. This is wrong. I will use it in the board, please. This something has happened to these figures. I'm using the board, please. Look at the board. This is wrong, you correct it. Professor Michael Porter's 5 competitive forces. This is the industry. Internal rivalry. Internal rivalry. Internal rivalry. Internal rivalry. What is that? Industry. There are companies operating. There are companies operating within the industry. There are companies operating within the industry. Among themselves, there is rivalry. Among themselves, there is rivalry. They call it internal rivalry. It is one force. The competition, this is one force. So if you take a biscuit industry, so within the biscuit industry, there are operators who now Manji is there, Maliban is there, then Lucky Land is there, Mam biscuit is there. There are so many others, so many. We call it internal rivalry. Within a buyer's scale, this internal should come here. This internal should come here. Internal rivalry. Right. So this is one force. Then another force. New entrants. New entrants. We call it threat of new entry. Threat of new entry, new entrants. This is another force. So the competition within the industry governed by these forces. Competition within the industry. So this is the industry. Within the industry, internal rivalry of the existing companies. Existing company, they are one force, internal rivalry. Among themselves, rivalry, they are fighting for the market. So another force, new entrants. So when the new entrants are coming, what will happen? If the new entrants are coming, the competition will increase. If the new entrants are coming into the industry, competition will increase. We call it threat of new entry. Then another force, suppliers. Another force, suppliers. They all got changes. Please correct it. Huh? This figure all got changes. So here, suppliers. So that is we call suppliers power. Suppliers power. What does it mean? So suppliers also another force creating the competition within the industry. If suppliers are many, if there are many suppliers, what will happen? Yeah, they can purchase from the industry people, the companies operating in the industry, they can buy from many suppliers. But if the suppliers are less, no, they have to fight to buy from these suppliers. So that will increase the competition. Suppliers power. If the suppliers are more, then the competition will be reduced. If the suppliers are less, then the competition will increase. This suppliers power. And then buyers. We call it buyers power. So this also will create another force. This also will create another force. Why? If the buyers are many, so they can sell their product to anyone. They can sell. If the buyers are less, they have to sell their product to the limited people. They have to sell their products to the limited buyer. Then there will be more competition. Even the selling also more competition. Even the buying also more competition. The competition will be more. Suppliers. And then another one, another force, substitutes. Substitutes. Substitute products. Substitute products. So threat of substitution. Threat of substitution. Threat of substitution. These are the 5 forces. So Professor Michael Porter, he said, so in an industry, there are 5 forces. These 5 forces only finally decide the competition within the industry. So what are those 5 forces? Internal rivalry, one force, and the threat of new entry, another force, and the supplier's power is another force, and the buyer's power is another force, and threat of substitution, another force. So depending on that one only, the final competition within the industry, whether it will be more or less, whether it is increasing or reducing, you will be deciding. So if the competition, so finally the competition within the industry is more important. If the competition within the industry is very stiff, all the players in the industry are fighting for their market share. The competition is very stiff. So all are fighting for their market share. The best company, the best, that is effective and efficient company will have a better market share. The weak company will have a very small market share. So better company, when they have a big market share, better market share, they get better profit and they can pay their loans. The other weak company, which has a very small market share, they may not get a good profit, or they may lose also. They won't be able to pay their facilities. So because of that one, the competitive forces also very important analyzing. So when you are analyzing the industry, finally you are analyzing how is the competition within the industry based on the integration and based on the Michael Porter's 5 competitive forces. So each industry in Sri Lanka, you have to analyze based on this, whether they have integrated and based on the 5 competitive forces, how is the competition, whether it is stiff or moderate or low. Or low competition. Certain industries maybe competition, maybe only few people are operating, few companies are operating. So because of that one, whether the competition is moderate or low. So if the competition is low within the company, all operators and the best company will get a very big profit. So you have to analyze the industry analysis. The second pillar in the competitive in the corporate credit analysis. Second pillar. Right. So now, entry barriers to the new entrants. Entry barriers to the new entrant. Now, so new entrants, if there are new entrants coming in, if new entrants are coming into this company, into this industry, that will increase the competition. If the new companies are coming into this industry, this will increase. Competition will increase. But there may be some factors preventing the new entrants coming into the industry. We call them entry barriers. We call them entry barriers. We call them entry barriers. The entry barriers will prevent the new entrants coming into this industry. Entry barriers prevent new entrants coming into the industry. So what do they do? By preventing them, they are preventing the competition within the industry. If the new entrants are coming, then the industry competition will increase. But the entry barriers, there can be entry barriers. They prevent new entrants coming into the industry. Thereby, they prevent increase in the competition. They prevent the increase of competition, the entry barriers. For the new entrant, there are certain entry barriers. What are those things? Economies of scale, product differentiation, capital requirement, switching cost, distribution channel, cost independent of scale, government policy, expected retaliation. These are the entry barriers to a new entrant. And these entry barriers indirectly prevent increase of competition. Indirectly prevent increase of competition. Now, first we look at the economies of scale. Economies of scale. Now, when a company starts newly, their cost of production per unit will be high because they are producing only small quantity. So there are variable cost and fixed cost add up and the cost of production. So when they increase their quantity, production quantity, when they increase over a period of time, so when a company starts new, they produce certain amount of products, quantity. So cost of production will be there. So when they increase the core product, then the fixed cost, the variable cost also will increase. The fixed cost will be getting divided. So when they produce more and more, the cost of production per unit, cost of product per unit will come down. Clear? There are cost of product. I will erase this. Please correct this figure. This figure that is wrong. Please make the corrections in that one. Cost of production. An item equal to the variable cost plus the fixed cost. So when you increase the number of products, when you increase the number of the products, the variable cost also will increase, but the fixed cost won't get increased. So it is distributed among the number of products. So it will, when you increase the production, when more and more number of products are produced, the cost of production per unit will come down. Cost of production per unit will come down. And it will come to an optimum level. So at the optimum level, the cost of product per unit will be the minimum. They have come. If they want to increase their products more, then they have to expand it. Right. So this is in the case of a company which has already established and they are in the business for a long time. So they have come to the best product cost of products per unit. They have come. When a new company comes, what will happen? Their cost of production per unit will be high. Whereas the old company, their cost of production per unit will be low. They have come to their optimum level. So they can offer a better price to the customers. When the new company comes, their cost of products per unit will be high because they are not, now only they are producing. So they may reach their optimum cost of production per unit. Maybe they need some more time. But now they won't be able to compete with the old companies. They have achieved their economies of scale. They have achieved their economies of scale. They won't be able. So because of that one, they may think we won't be able to sell at that price. If we sell at that price, we have to face loss. So better not to go into this business. One entry barrier. The economies of scale. Because of the economies of scale, that entry barrier, the company thing, we won't be able to go. Excuse me, just a minute, please. Hello. Sorry. No, sorry. I am in Excel. I will finish it. I will give you a call. Huh? Okay. Right. Okay. So economies of scale is a entry barrier to the new entrant. So new entrant will think I won't be able to sell at that price. My competitor's price, who is already there in the business, I have to sell at higher price. If I sell at the lower price, then I have to face losses. So I am not going into this business. So one is entry barrier, economies of scale. Then another entry barrier, product differentiation. You mean the products differentiation. Now, soaps, bathroom soaps, washing soaps. There are so many soaps. But some people have preference for certain soaps due to various reasons. That is, all are same bathroom soaps. All are bathroom soaps. But certain products get differentiated from the other bathroom soap, like Lux, due to the better quality, shape of the soap, or the packing, advertisement that promotes the soap. Because of that one, the certain people have they have created customer loyalty for that particular product. And that is the product differentiation. So one product, the same product, but one item is got differentiated from the other one. We call it product differentiation. So when a new man coming into the soap manufacturing, he may think, now this Lux soap has got differentiated, product differentiation. And because of that one, it has created customer loyalty. When I come into this business, it may long time, and until that time, I won't be able to sell my product. So because of that one, I am not coming. Because of that one, I am not coming. This is another entry barrier. Then another one, capital requirement. Now, paddy milling. So if anybody want to establish a quality paddy milling project, they need about more than 2,000 million rupees. Maybe 1,000 million rupees for their machineries, land, building machineries, all modern machineries, different type of machinery, 1,000. And another 1,000 rupees for the working capital, that is to stock the paddy. To sound. So there are only 7 or 8 best operating paddy millers in this country. Best operating paddy millers in this country. So India paddy milling or the rice business is in their hand. There are small paddy millers in each and every places, but they are just operating. The best paddy millers, there are about 7 or 8 paddy millers in the country, and that also concentrated in Polonnaruwa and Anuradhapura area. So I know another big company wanted to come into this business. They planned, but later they didn't come into that one due to various reasons. One reason, the capital requirement. This is another entry barrier, capital requirement. So economies of scale is one entry barrier, preventing new entrants. Product differentiation, already certain products have been differentiated. It has the customer satisfaction and customer loyalty they have created. Because of that, they are not coming. And then the capital requirement, certain businesses which need a big capital investment. So similarly, there are other things also. So I am not going to explain all those things. You have to study on your own. So only 3 things, 3 items I have explained. The balance item, you have to study on your own. It is an easy way. You have to use the internet. You can go and put Michael Porter's 5 competitive forces. And there are so many websites. Michael Porter's 5 competitive forces. There are so many websites. So through those websites, you can study. And it is an important thing. You can study. And there is another very important website. There is a website called Quick MBA. QUI Quick MBA. Quick MBA, another good website. The management subjects. About the management subjects. So this Michael Porter's one, you can go through this website. You can study and understand. But even there are so many other websites they give. You can study. Okay. So I'm not going to explain everything. So this is economies of scale, product differentiation, capital requirement, switching cost. The switching cost means switching cost. Switch. Cost, switching cost. Monetary and non-monetary. Switching. Switching cost means from one product, when you are changing from one product to another product. When you are changing from one product to another product, there may be certain cost you have to face. When you are switching means changing from one product to another product, you have to pay some costs. So that we call switching cost. If the switching cost is more, the person won't change from one product to another product. If the switching cost is low, then he can change from one product to another product. If the switching cost is more, he won't change from one product to another cost. So switching cost may be not only money, monetary also, and non-monetary cost also there. So because of that one, some people won't change. If the switching cost, which may be monetary or non-monetary, if it is high, they won't change from one product to another product. A good example I will tell you. I am using Dialog. Dialog. I am not propagating or anything, but what has happened to me, I am using Dialog. When the Airtel came, so they offered so many benefits to the customers. So I thought, shall I switch on from Dialog to Airtel? I was just thinking. Then, okay, I compared the prices and everything, almost same. Their charges are almost same and everything. Then I thought, yeah, but if I am switching off, there are so many friends and relations and people I am in contact through my mobile phone. So to all of them, I have to inform them. So that will be additional cost and the time also. Time factor and the monetary cost also there. Time factor. Time cost also there. I have to inform everybody. Then it is cumbersome to informing and again sending messages or taking calls and tell so many people I have to. By chance, if I miss somebody, then when they try to contact me on my earlier number, so they may get the message. So they may think this fellow didn't pay the money. So that's what they have cut off the line. So my credibility will be at a loss. So I thought better what to do, continue with this one. Because the switching cost from changing from Dialog to Airtel was high to me. That is monetary as well as non-monetary was high to me. So I didn't change. I continue still with the Dialog. So this is the switching cost. Similarly, everybody from one soap to change to other soap, they may think, oh, if I change this soap, sometime I may get pimples, I may get rashes. People may think switching cost like that. And similarly, the distribution channel, that is another important factor. Now, if you go to Mondragala, one small pettikade shop, ask for Lux soap, yes, he will give you the Lux soap. Any nook and corner, it is available. That is, they have established a very good distribution channel for their product. They have established very good distribution channel for their product. So similarly, if a new entrant comes, can they establish a distribution channel like that? No, they have to restrict themselves to only certain areas. So he may think, no, I won't be able to compete with Lux because they have established a distribution channel. Everywhere the product is available, I won't be able to sell like that. So better, I am not going into this business. Another entry barrier. So similarly, there are entry barriers which prevent new entrant coming into this business. So thereby, that will not allowing the competition to increase. So similarly, these are entry barriers. There are other things, factors affecting the internal rivalry, factors affecting the internal rivalry. These you on your own, you have to study, please. Factors affecting buyers' power, factors affecting suppliers' power, then factors affecting substitutes. This you have to study on your own. Other factors for consideration. So now, apart from that, other factors for consideration. In the industry, maybe the industry maybe new, young, virgin industries. So they have tendency for expansion. They can expand. So these are new industries, young, virgin, growing industries, growing. These are growing. So they have They can expand. They can expand. So expand means the company is operating within the industry. They can have better market shares. They can have better market share. So they also can expand the companies within this type of industries. So you have to see whether this particular industry is a new, young, virgin, expanding industry. The companies, your customer is within that industry, then they can have, possibly they can expand. They can get more profit. They can expand. On the other hand, there can be some matured industries. Matured industries. Matured industries. So their growth is limited. Their expansion is limited. Matured industries, their expansion is limited. So within the companies operating within that industry, their expansion also limited. The efficient and effective companies can expand. Other weak companies, they may collapse. So you have to look at it, who your customer is. Whether your customer is an effective, efficient company operating within the industry, though it is matured, they can survive and go on. If your customer is weak, then they have to lose. They may collapse within this matured industry. Then new, young, virgin, growing industries, and then matured industries, whether your customer is operating in a mature industry. If it is so, whether your customer is an efficient and effective customer, effective company, then they can withstand, they can survive. Then the stability of the industry, whether the particular industry is stabilized. Sometimes some industries may close. So all these factors you have to consider, and other important factors within the industry, whether there is industrial peace. Whether there is industrial peace within the industry or unrest. Because these are some labor factors that will affect the industry. If the labor factors affect the industries, obviously your customer also will get affected. And wage rates. Now you can see within the estate sector, estate tea industries, it is getting affected because of this wage rate, rights, and so many things. Now they have come to an end. So these are the factors you have to consider. These are the factors you have to consider in the case of industries. Okay. Now the time is 10:24 and we have a break. We meet by 10:45. We meet by 10:45. Okay, thank you. Okay. We start now, we continue. So now the industry evaluation we have done. The purpose of industry evaluation, how about the competition within the industry? How is the competition within the industry? By doing this integration and by this Michael Porter's 5 forces of competition, that analysis, you can assess how is the competition within the industry, and then whether the industry is a young and expanding industry or whether it is a matured industry. You have to, if it is matured, as I told you, the expansion is limited. So companies operating within that industry, the competition is very, very stiff. The best competition, best company, which is the best company, which is really doing very well can have a better market share and can have a better profit. And they can pay their loans well. The weak companies, sometimes they may not survive. They may not survive. So you have to be very careful. Efficient and effective companies. So it is a matured company, matured industry. The efficient and effective company can survive and have a better market share. Right. Now we move on to evaluation of the company's competitive position. Evaluation. Now we have seen the industry competition and whether the industry is matured, young or virgin, that type of company, or matured one. Okay, we have seen that one. Now within the industry, the company's competitive position. How is your customer within the industry? Whether this company will have a better market share, thereby better profit, thereby they can pay their loan, or very weak position, very weak market share. So because of that, they won't have any good profit. They won't be able to pay their loan. They may be difficult to survive. So evaluation of the company's competitive position within the industry. This analysis indicates the company's competitive position within the industry. So for that purpose, you will do a SWOT analysis. SWOT, SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis means most of you may be aware of it. Strength, I will use the board. Strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat. Strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat analysis. SWOT analysis. When we say strength, it is internal to the company. Strength, it is internal to the company. Already existing. It is there. Already exists. Internal. Similarly, weakness also internal to the company. That also already exists. Then opportunities which are external to the company, external. It is contingent eventuality. So it is there, it may go, it may come, it may go. Contingent eventuality. Opportunities. Similarly, threats also external. Contingent eventuality. It may come, it may go. It may come, it may go. SWOT analysis. So you have to do a SWOT analysis to see the company's competitive position within the particular industry. So you have to examine the company's, what are the company's strengths, what are the weaknesses. So in the case of strength, how can you promote those strengths? In the case of weaknesses, how can you reduce the weaknesses? And the opportunities, what are the opportunities available at the moment? How can you use the opportunity? And threats, what are the threats faced by the company? How can you omit? How can you avoid those threats? So these are the things. The company, they must do SWOT analysis. Thereby, by analyzing this, by doing this SWOT analysis, you know your customer, where his competitive position within the industry, where he is. So it depends on the customers, the company's effectiveness and the efficiency. So now, there are some questions just for you to guide how to do the SWOT analysis. Just to guide how to do the SWOT analysis. What type of questions you can ask. So here are sample question just as a guide. So in the case of customers, you don't need to ask this question for you to understand that one, for you to understand how to do the SWOT analysis. Now, there's a question. Does the company have a low cost structure? That is, in the production, whether they have a low cost structure, whether their production cost is low. Does the company have a low cost structure? If it has a low cost structure, so when compared to other competitors, it will be in a better position. So now, what is this low cost structure? Whether it is internal or external, or whether it is existing or it is not existing, whether it is already existing. It is if the answer is yes, to this question, does the company have a low cost structure? If the answer is yes for this question, it is a strength of the company. It is the strength of the company. So the strength of the company called low cost structure. So we have to preserve it, or even we can promote it. That is a strength of the company. If the answer is no, does the company have a low cost structure? If the answer is no, then it is a weakness of the company. Weakness of the company. So what we have to do, how we can, avoid these weaknesses. How we can, improve this from this weakness. How can we improve? That is to improve the cost structure of the company. Right. And then, is it product differentiated? Is it product differentiated? Whether its products are differentiated. That means whether these products are differentiated compared to the similar products. So thereby, whether they have a customer loyalty. Whether they have a customer loyalty. If the answer is yes, differentiated, that means the customer loyalty is there. It is a strength of the company. If the answer is no, then it is a weakness of the company. It is a weakness of the company. Then, does it have efficient and effective distribution channel? Whether it has an efficient and effective distribution channel. You know the distribution channel, so the marketing, then it can reach more and more people, more and more area, effective and efficient distribution channel. If the answer is yes, then it is again the strength. And so we have to preserve that strength, or even we can promote this one, efficient, effective distribution channel. If the answer is no, then it is a weakness of the company. So then what we have to do? How can you avoid this weakness? How can you avoid and improve it? So how can you avoid this weakness? Does it have efficient, effective distribution channel? If the answer is no, then it is going to be a weakness of the company. Does the company have a strong R&D program, research and development program to enhance product innovation or reduce production cost? Does the company have a strong R&D program? Whether the company has a strong research and development program to enhance product innovation, to improve the product innovation, or reduce the production cost? If the answer is yes, it is strength of the company. The company has a strong R&D program, thereby enhance the product innovation and reduce the production cost. So we have to promote it. We have to promote it. If the answer for this question is no, then it is a weakness. Then how can we improve it? How can we, from this weakness, how can we improve it? You have to, the company has to make, they have to make. How can you improve from this problem? Then, does the company have an effective marketing strategy? Yes, effective marketing strategy. So if the answer is yes, then it has already an effective marketing strategy. It is a strength. If the answer is no, then it is a weakness. So how can you improve from this problem? How can you improve from this problem? Then, does the company's product have a strong brand name in the marketplace? So already it has a strong market brand name, strong brand name. If the answer is yes, that is already it has a strong brand name. If the answer is yes, then it is a strength. So you have to preserve it. You have to preserve it and improve it. And if the answer is no, then it is a weakness of the company. So how you can improve from this problem? How can you improve from this problem? You have to. That is, the company has to make. How can they improve from this problem? So like this, of course, you will be discussed with the company's people. You have to companies with the people to see their position within the industry. Where are they? To see their position within the industry. To analyze. So you have to now this analysis only you are sitting with the company's people and discussing. The first one, environment analysis, you do it on your own. Then the industry analysis, you do it on your own. See the particular industry, how the industry is, how the competition within the industry, you are doing on your own. Now, to see the competitive position within the industry of your customer, only now you are sitting with the company people, company management, and you are discussing to see their strength, weaknesses, to see their strength, to their weaknesses, what are the opportunities they have, what are the threats they are facing. All these things you are sitting and thereby you are deciding your customer company is where within the industry, whether he has a good market share, whether he can get a good profit, whether he can make the facility which you are going to recommend. It depends. So if there are weaknesses, those are the risks. So how to avoid those risks? You have to. Those are the risks. How to avoid those risks? You have to. Now, does the company have sufficient financial resources to maintain, enhance its competitive position? Does the company have sufficient financial resources to maintain or enhance its competitive position? Yes. Whether anybody can say whether it is a, if the answer is yes, what is it? It is a strength or weaknesses or opportunity or threat. Does the company have sufficient financial resources to maintain or to enhance its competitive position? If the answer is yes, what is it? Strength or weaknesses or opportunity or threat? Anybody?
I think that is the opportunity as well as the strength of the company.
Yeah. Now, does the company have sufficient financial resources to maintain, enhance its competitive position? It is, answer is yes. So whether it is internal or external?
That is actually internal.
Internal.
And
No.
as well as the external, no?
No, does the company have sufficient financial resources? That is, belong to the company, no?
Resources is internal, yeah.
Sorry?
Yes. That is internal.
Internal. So, if the answer,
Resources,
what is it? Answer is yes,
strength.
please.
Yeah, it's a good.
It is a strength or weakness?
Strength.
It is a strength. It is a strength. If the answer is no, then it will be weaknesses. If the answer is no, it is weaknesses. So, does the company have sufficient financial resources to maintain? That is internal. That is internal. And already answer is yes, that is already has. So, that is strength. Right. Then, is the company protected by switching cost? I have already explained to you the meaning of switching cost, whether the company protected by switching cost. Yeah, that is the people who want to change from this product to other product. If the switching cost is more, they won't change. So these people, so they will give better things to their customers, better facilities to their customers, switching cost. So company is protected by switching cost. What do you think? If the answer is yes, they are protected by switching cost, whether it is a strength or weakness or opportunity or threat. Anyone? Is the company protected by switching cost?
It's a strength.
Very good. It is a strength already existing. If the answer is yes, customer won't switch on from this product to other product. It is a strength. It is already existing. Now the other one, let us. If the company under review, yeah, you are reviewing a company. If the company under review implements a price leadership strategy, that is, they want to reduce their price leadership strategy, either reduce or increase or whatever it is, but just say they reduce the price leadership strategy. What the retaliation can be expected from its competitors? What the retaliation can be expected from the competitors? Okay, right. So if the company under review implements a price leadership strategy, what the retaliation can be expected from the competitors? If there is retaliation, what is it? Whether it is a strength or weakness or opportunity or threat. Anyone?
Threat.
Very good, very good. Yes, it is external. It is external. If the company want to have a price leadership, how if the competitors retaliate, it is going to be a threat. It is if the competitors are just keeping quiet, it is an opportunity. So if they retaliate, then it is going to be a threat. Very good, very good. Next one. Is the government promoting competition in the industry, or is it protecting the industry players? Whether the government promoting competition in the industry or protecting the industry players. If the government promote competition within the industry, what is it? It is an opportunity or threat or weakness or strength. If the government promoting competition in the industry, what is it? Is the government promoting competition within the industry?
Opportunity.
Competition? Promoting competition? Government is promoting.
Promoted competition is somewhat threat, I think. That is a threat.
It is
But
threat,
for the new
yes.
interest, it might be a opportunity, no?
Yeah, that's right. Yes. But if the government is protecting the industry players, then it is an opportunity. External, if the government is protecting the industry players, then it is an opportunity. Right. So similarly, I won't be doing everything. So similarly, you must discuss with your customer and what are their strengths. You try to promote those strengths further. What are their weaknesses? And you must try to prevent those weaknesses and promote in a good way. And what are the opportunities available? What are the threats they are facing? And thereby you decide where your customer is within the industry. Where your customer is within the industry, you have to. So finally, the banker should remember that he is not running the industry. Rather, his job is one of observer or analyst. Hence, need to discuss observation with the customer as mentioned above. So these are certain questions for you to guide how to identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So based on the customer, based on the industry, based on the situation, you must ask a suitable questions from the customer and judge and decide what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are the opportunities available, what are the threats they are facing. So this, of course, this skill you have to develop. This skill you have to develop. That's right. So these are some guidelines for you to do the SWOT analysis, and basic the reason for you to identify where your customer within the industry. And then the financial evaluation. Financial evaluation, the next evaluation. Okay, I'm not going to do this one because you have already done. There are financial modules. There are, of course, even the examples you have seen, and the financial statements you have analyzed, and then ratio analysis you have studied, and the interpretation of those ratios you have done. Interpretation, just doing the ratio analysis, of course, nothing, but you have to interpret it. Based on that one, how is the financial risk or financial position of your customer? But anyway, there are financial statement, you know, balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow, you have analyzed. Now, only one thing I want to just mention. Even this SWOT analysis also, you can go through the internet, and there are various ways you can analyze and see. Internet, especially the quick MBA, you can go through the and there are examples. You can really understand what is the meaning of strength, what is the meaning of weaknesses, what is the meaning of opportunity, what is the meaning of threat. You can really. So better spend some time and go through the internet, these areas, and study and make familiar with you. Right. Operating financial statements. Other one is projected. So operating balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow. So these are the main financial statement, operating financial statement analysis. So they are, of course, there are audited, unaudited, draft, and management accounts. Audited, unaudited, draft, and management accounts. Right. So here, earlier also, I think I have, even in your financial statement module, you would have learned all these things. I can remember I also have mentioned about this audited, unaudited, draft, and management. Audited, the company accountant prepare the financial statements and then submitted their auditors, chartered auditors, whereas the auditors, they have gone through it and they finally, they signed together with their opinion. Then it is audited statement. Once again, the company accountant prepare the accounts and then hand it over to the auditors, chartered auditors, for them to, for the auditing purposes. The auditors analyzed everything. Finally, they sign the audited financial statement together with their opinion. Then only it is an audited financial statement. Then the unaudited means company accountant prepare the financial statement, handed over to the auditors, chartered auditors for auditing. The auditors have gone through, but not yet signed together with their opinion. Then it is unaudited. They have gone through it, but not yet signed together with the opinion. That means there may be amendment to this unaudited statement. There may be amendment. So you should know. So audited statement, you can rely much. Unaudited, you can't rely much like audited statement, because the auditors haven't signed the document together with their opinion. That is unaudited. Then the draft, company accountant has prepared only that one. Company accountant has prepared the financial statement, not yet go to the auditors. That is unaudited. Sorry, that is draft. So this is audited, unaudited, draft. So when you do the analysis, so you must say whether it is audited statement, unaudited, or draft. Draft means there could be more improvement, more amendments may come in. Unaudited, yes, and audited, the final. And then the management accounts. So these accounts is audited, unaudited, and draft for one full accounting year, for the accounting years. But management account, now today, within the year, for maybe for a certain period. Now it is March. Now today March 6th. March 6th. Generally, the accounting year, financial year, accounting year is from April April 1st to 31st March. April 1st to 31st March. Okay, then so these audited or unaudited or draft are from April 1st to 31st March of a particular years. Right. But sometime now they have come to us for the facility, they would have come to us in June. They will come to us in June or July. They have come to us for July. So the bank may ask them, they have given all the previous years audited or unaudited or draft for 3 years. For 3 years, they would have given their financial statement. But now it is from April 1st to maybe till June, we can ask April 1st to June, because they have come to us in July for the facility. Okay, they have given their previous 3 years audited or unaudited or draft financial statement they have given to us. But now there's a balance period. That is from April 1st to June. So we can ask them, give your management accounts for this period together with the previous 3 years financial statement. Also give us from April 1st to June 30th. June 30th, your financial statement. So this one is called as management accounts. This one is called as management account. For not a full year period, maybe portion of a period, we may ask. That is management accounts. So what do you do? You do the analysis, everything. Ratio analysis you do. Vertical and horizontal ratio analysis you do. And based on the ratios, you interpret it. And then what will you do? Based on this one, you go for the projected financial statement. So this is operating financial statement. Do the analysis, and based on that one, you have to make the projection. Projected financial statement. This also generally we may have to do for 3 years, or 3 or 5 years we may do. This also maybe for projections, future projections, we may do it for 3 to 5 years projected. So there will be a projected balance sheet. You make the projects. Now it is 2021. So from 2021, 2022, 2023, 2023, for 3 years, you make the projected balance sheet, projected profit and loss, projected cash flow. And there also you will do the ratio analysis and you will say this will be like this, interpret it, future. So that is projected financial statement based on the operating financial statement, past 3 years, operating financial statement. Based on that one, you will make the projections. And the projections only, you will decide how the ratios, how the repayment capacity, all those things you will based on the projected financial statement. So that is financial statement evaluation. So this, of course, I'm not going to do. These are only very basic thing I have told you. This module you have done. Already you have done. So you must develop your capability of calculating these ratios and interpretation. And the interpretation. That is very important, interpreting the ratios. Right. So now the next pillar, management evaluation. Actually, this is very important. Any company is run by the management. So management should be very strong. And they should be very effective and efficient in their operation, in their management function. So management evaluation is very critical and you have to do very carefully because they may have everything. If the management is weak, they may have whatever the resources, best resources they may have. Best resources they may have. But if the management is weak, then the company may collapse. So the management evaluation is very, very important. Basis of management assessment. Who are they? What are they now and where do they want to go? Do they have a good plan to get where they want to go? Are they capable of executing the plan? So it calls for superior interpersonal skill in questioning, listening, and forming an opinion. So you must develop this skill. As I told you earlier, the interviewing skill, you have to develop. Similarly, this also evaluation, you must develop that skill to find out the basic management assessment. Who are they? Where are they now? And where they do want to go? Do they have a good plan to get where they want to go? Are they capable of executing the plan? So now, who are they? Now, relevant experience and breadth and depth of the management. Breadth and depth of the well-balanced management team. Well-balanced management team. Now, well-balanced management team in the sense, there are management functions. So those management functions should be managed by qualified, experienced management people. There may be production, there may be human resource management, there may be management, marketing management, and financial management, administration. Sometimes they may have a training. So all these management auditing, all these management functions should be managed by qualified in the relevant field. They should be qualified in the relevant field and experienced people. So that is the balanced management team. So they must have a balanced management team. And the depth of the management, sir. So sometimes there may be only single layer. There may be single layer. But when the depth is more, there may be the number of layers of the management layers may be more. So if the management layer is more, then the management efficiency will be more. So breadth and depth of the management, you must assess. Breadth and depth of the management, well-balanced management team. Then how the company's management faces up to risk. What does it mean? How the company's management faces up to risk. Now, the environment, the industry environment, industry situation, competition, everything, not same always. No, it may be changing. It may be turbulent. The management, so industry situation may be changing, turbulent. So it may pose risk. So how the management team is prepared to face that risk? How the management team is prepared to face the risk. So for that one, the management team should be, all the members of the management team should be very efficient and effective. How the company's management faces up to risk. So when they operate in a particular industry, when they operate in a particular, there may be change. There may be internally and externally. And maybe from foreign, some immediately they are operating in a very cool environment and everything. Sometimes maybe some foreign company may come into this industry. And they may be well-established foreign company. They may come into this particular industry. So they may offer goods and services, products and services at a competitive price. It is going to be a risk for this company. How they are going to face it? So that's what, this is only one example. There may be various things may happen in the industry. Various things may happen in the industry. How they will face the risk. So this is how the company's management faces up to risk. You have to evaluate. How good the management is at planning, budgeting, and control. One is facing, and they must plan. And they must prepare the budgets and control. Who are they? So whether this management team are capable. Who are these people? And they must have the relevant experience and qualification in the particular field. Where are they now and where do they want to go? Where are they now? What is their competitive position? Already we have seen how to do the competitive position by doing the SWOT analysis. After doing the SWOT analysis, where are they now? Where are they now? Management own perspective of its positions of management. So what do they think about their position? Management's own perspective of its position. What do they think about their position? They may be in the competitive field, they will be very low. So in that case, they must know, they must say, why are we in this position? So management's own perspective of its position. And where do they want to go? By taking the facility, what do they want to do? Where do they want to go? Is it maximizing the shareholders' wealth? Or management's overall vision and statement is important. What is their vision? They must have a particular vision. If any company which do not have a vision is no use. If a company, if they don't have their vision, of course, no use. Then they have the vision, how to achieve that vision. The mission they should know. They must have a mission. So vision, important. And the statement, vision statement. And then what are their objectives? So they must have a clear vision. And clear vision how to achieve their vision. And the objectives. So where are they now and where do they want to go? They must have it. So they must have their plan. Do they have a good plan to get there? do they have a good plan to get there? Company's vision, mission and objective, which I have told you. Is further plan or strategies in terms of product research and development, production, marketing, human resource development, and management, finance. So they must have a realistic plan, corporate plan. They must have a corporate plan with their vision, mission. They must have a clear vision. So this, of course, by sitting and discussing with them, you must. The management evaluation is very, very important. Management evaluation. Because everything depends on the management. As I told you earlier, they may have better resources. They may have better resources. But if they don't know how to use those resources, if they are inefficient, ineffective, then the company will collapse. Company will collapse. Are they capable of executing the plan? So it depends on the plan and your assessment of the people concerned. So you are going to assess. Your ability to judge is vital. So it is vital that your ability, you must have a better ability to judge. It is vital to your financial institution. If you wrongly assess, then it is a failure. So you have to develop that capability to assess. Your ability to judge your customer is vital. So here I must tell you another important thing. Sometimes it may be a one-man show. Sometimes the company, even a big company, it may be a one-man show. If anything happened to that man, then the company's future is very, very questionable. So you also assess, you also look at that one also. Whether it is a one-man show or a group of people managing, these things you have to look into. And then whether they have a succession plan. Whether they have a succession plan. When something happened to the chief man, the next man has to take over, then only the company will going on. So in any companies, you must see whether there is a succession plan they have. So finally, you have to assess the management. It is very, very important. So many things I have told you about assessing the management. So you will be looking at it and you will decide. As I told you, your ability to judge the management of the company is very, very vital. And finally, loan structuring and collateral quality. Loan structuring and collateral quality. So in this case, I have to. Now, loan structuring. What do you mean by loan structuring? Various credit facilities are available from lending institutions for borrowers. Various credit facilities are available. So the credit officer or the credit manager should select the suitable credit package to fit the borrower's requirement. Now, you can just look at credit facilities. Funded or direct. I'm using the board. So you must switch on to see the board clearly. Credit facilities funded or non-funded. Funded means direct credit facilities, non-funded, indirect. Indirect, which we have seen, we have learned some time back, no? Yeah. So here, loans, overdrafts, bill, purchasing, bill purchasing, or discounting. So non-funded, guarantees, and bonds. Bank guarantees and bonds, non-funded or indirect facilities. The loan, there are so many type of loan, guarantee loans, mortgage loans, mortgage maybe immobile or mobile facilities, guarantee loans, and then there are so many other things. Other loans we have, say, what is it? Pledge loan facilities, pledge loans, series of loans, or revolving loans, revolving credit, TR facilities, then import loans, export loans, packing credit facilities, like that. Yes. Pre-shipment credit, post-shipment credit, there are so many facilities. Then bill purchase and discounting, check purchasing and discounting. Then bills, import bills, purchasing and discounting, like that. Even the guarantee, then on the non-funded guarantee bond, there are so many other credit facilities, and we have discussed some of the credit facilities I have mentioned here, just for you to remember. And then guarantee bonds, then bid bond. Nah. Before that, bank guarantees, and then bonds, that bid bonds, and performance bond, like that way. So many. Also, we have discussed. Right here, hypothecation loan, then the overdraft, TOD, we have discussed. Right. So here the packaging of credit now. So these credit facilities are available with you, with the bank, these credit facilities. So now loan structuring and collateral quality, the last evaluation, that is corporate credit evaluation, the last pillar, loan structuring, and the collateral quality. So there, you must see, there's so many credit facilities are available. So you must see a better package for your customer. You must see a better package. So loan structuring, you have to provide a better package for your customer. In the case of consumer credit, it is straightforward. He may want a car loan. Just a car loan, yes. Or he may want a washing machine. He want to purchase a washing machine or a TV. Or send his children abroad for the higher education. So it is straightforward, the credit facility. Or even in the case of small and medium businesses also. Small and medium business loans also. Business customers also, it is straightforward. He may want a loan facility, just a loan facility. Or he may want a mortgage over goods or mortgage over vehicle, like that. They will want. It's a straightforward. But in the case of, if you are analyzing doing a project loan or a corporate customer, you have to develop a credit package. You have to give credit package, provide a credit package to suit their requirement. To suit their requirement. That's what package in the credit facility. Package in the credit facility. Now, as an example, so how to do the packaging as an example. But I told you in the case of consumer credit, straightforward. In the case of the small and medium business loan, that also straightforward. Sometimes he want a POD, permanent overdraft, to meet their permanent working capital requirement. Or they want a vehicle to do their transport of their goods. They want a vehicle or mortgage over a vehicle. Like there, it is a straightforward. Or hypothecation, stock, hypothecation of stock to as a working capital requirement. So these are straightforward. But in the case of project loan, or if the customer is a corporate customer, you have to provide a packaging credit facility. So now we see an example. I am erasing this. Credit package. Now, just see here, a project. Now, project purpose. PUAC. Purpose. Customers contribution, that is equity. Customers contribution, that is equity. The bank loan. In the total. Maybe a corporate customer wanted to do a project. Separate project. The corporate customers, they are going for diversification. Diversification is now doing a business, doing a sector. From this sector, they are going to do another sector. Now they are doing manufacturing of footwears. They are in the footwear industry, but they want to go for an agricultural. So agricultural. So that is diversification. So now, an example. The purpose, land. And then buildings. Land, building. And then machinery. They need machinery. The machinery may be imported, maybe local also. Some machinery they want to import. And they may need a vehicle. And they need a working capital. they need a working capital. Right, these are the items. So now, customer equity, the land, cost of land, yes. Now, customer's equity, land. Let us say 25 million. So, bank is not providing loan for that one. So, this is 25 million. Then the buildings. Right, land and okay. And the buildings. $45 million. So now, sorry, for the customer, no. That bank is going to give 45 million. So total 45 million. The machinery to be imported, 20 million. Imported, yes. Bank is going to give 20 million. So this is 20 million. The local, 10 million. Bank is going to give. That is 10 million. The vehicle, bank is going to give 10 million. So 10 million. And the working capital, 20 million. Bank is going to give 20 million. So 20 million. So equity 25 million. So here 105 million. Why not? Here 130 million. So this is the total project cost. So first, of course, so before loan structuring, if everything is okay, previous other environment analysis, and then the industry analysis, and then the industry position, competitive position within the industry analysis, financial analysis, management analysis, everything is okay. If everything is good, if you are, yes, decided to grant the facility, then of course you will prepare this one. Loan structure, credit packaging, you have to prepare if all other things are satisfactory and if you decide to grant the facility. Right now. So here the customer's equity, then the bank loan total. Customer's equity is 25 million. And 105 million bank is going to give for various purposes. And the total is 130 million. Right. This you have to prepare first before loan structure. And then generally, when the bank is granting facilities, the customer's equity should be utilized first. Customer has to utilize his equity. So here it is 25 million, land is there. Maybe sometime if they want to do any improvement to the land, development, land, just a bare land is there, the land has to be developed. Maybe some 5 million or whatever it is, land has to be developed. Land has to be developed. With the customer's equity, land has to be developed. Then, buildings is there. So this one, for the buildings, what type of facility bank can grant? For the buildings, what type of building? The loan facility. Building, loan facility. Generally, it should be a long-term loan facility. Depending on the LONG, long-term loan. Depending on the cash flow. So you have to prepare the cash flow also by doing the financial analysis, projected financial analysis. I have told you. There, of course, you would have projected balance sheet, projected profit and loss, projected cash flow. From the cash flow, if the loan is granted, when what may be the repayment period. So based on the projected cash flow, you will decide. So based on that one, maybe long-term loan facility. Then machinery. One is import. One is import. That is 20 million import. So for that one, what you have to do? You are agreed to grant the facility. So 20 million for the imported machinery. So in that case, you have to give for the importation. You have already learned in your international trade finance facility. You have to provide. That is 20 million letter of credit LC for 20 million. LC for 20 million. They are only for the importation of the machinery. When the machinery comes, you have to retire the import bills. LC bill should be retired. That is, payment should be made for the LC bill. If the customer has money, of course, he can pay. Otherwise, you have agreed to grant the loan. For the machinery importation, you have grant the loan. So, retire the bill, what is a loan? Yes. So, this is, maybe you have to, based on the cash flow, this 20 million loan, maybe medium-term loan, you can grant. So, medium-term loan of 20 million to retire the LC. This is one and off facility. This LC one off. That is only one. Only for the importation of the machinery. This LC is established. So 20 million LC for 20 million for the importation of the machinery. And the machinery comes to, you have to retire the bill, LC bill, you have to retire. For that one, you are granting a medium-term loan of 20 million. Right. Then the locally also 10 million. Locally purchasing the machinery. So for this one also, a medium-term loan. Medium-term loan of 10 million to purchase the machinery locally. Then the vehicle, 10 million. So this, of course, you can grant a loan, medium-term loan to purchase the vehicle, or you can grant an leasing facility. You can grant a lease facility. Depending on the customer. If the customer wishes lease facility, you grant. So this, of course, you have to discuss with the customer whether to grant lease facility or not. So lease facility for 10 million. And then finally, working capital 20 million. This also you can discuss with the customer. You can grant a loan, or you can grant a POD facility. If discussing revolving, POD facility revolving. POD facility revolving. So now we have decided. So these are different facilities. You have going to grant for this purpose. One is 45 million to construct the buildings, 45 million long-term loan. And the repayment based on the cash flow, whether it is monthly or like that, for how many years? Yes, based on the cash flow, 45 million. Then machinery importation, you are granting 20 million. First, of course, establishing LC for 20 million for the import of machinery. This is one-off LC facility. That is only once after the importation that will be cancelled. The LC will be cancelled. One-off LC is one-off. one of LC facility for the importation of machinery, 20 million. Then when the machinery has come to retire the LC bill, so you have to make the payment. The customer has to make the payment for the importation of machinery. So that means retiring the bill, LC bill, 20 million. 20 million. Medium-term loan to retire the LC bill, imported machinery. Then to purchase the local machinery, another medium-term loan of 10 million. Medium-term loan. Then to purchase a vehicle, discuss with the customer whether a medium-term loan or a lease facility, Then to meet the working capital requirement, 20 million, a POD facility. Repayment on demand. That is, as long as they can go, if anything happens, bank can demand. So, POD facility revolving 20 million. So, this will make the credit package. This is a simple way of making the credit package. This is a very simple way of making the credit package or credit structuring, loan structuring. So that's right. So now, investment, mode of financing, debt and equity. You will decide how much is the debt, how much is the equity, how much is the debt, how much is the equity, and what is the total. Investment, mode of financing, debt. Then the package in the credit. So from the various facilities available from your bank, you must select the best suitable. Maybe a block loan, yes, yeah, block loan. Maybe POD, permanent overdraft facility. Maybe depending on the case, maybe a hypothecation or series of loan, pledge facilities, trust facilities, bank guarantees, trade finance facilities, import, export, based on. Very simple one I have explained to you for you to understand. Okay, and then implementation schedule. What is the implementation schedule? So what are the stages you are going to release this one? What are the stages you are going to release? For what purposes you are going to release this one? Purposes also. You understand. What are the stages you are going to release this one? For what purposes you are going to release this one? What are the loan components? Yeah, components also. 45 million long-term loan, LC for 20 million, medium-term loan 20 million to retire the LC, another medium-term loan of 10 million to purchase the local vehicle, local machinery, 10 million lease facility, then 20 million POD facility, right? And the conditions for release of loan fund. What are the conditions for the release of loan components? What are the conditions for the release of loan components? So those conditions also you have to see before one item is completed, and depending on the industry and the nature of the business and everything, you must put the condition for the release of loan. Then cash flow based appropriate repayment period. So for these facilities, how is the repayment? Based on the cash flow. So you must have the cash flow. You must have the prepare the projected cash flow. Cash flow based appropriate repayment period. Then grace period if necessary. And suitable installment based on the cash flow, whether the grace period is necessary. So you have to provide that one. During the grace period, customer has to pay the interest. Customer has to pay the interest. After the grace period, customer has to pay the interest plus installment. Right. And the covenants or conditions based on risk analysis. So based on while doing this, I have already told you, this is credit appraisal is the risk analysis. So based on the risk you have identified, provide condition, that is safeguards to prevent those risks. To prevent those risks, you provide safeguards by way of conditions and covenants. That is based on the risk analysis. Maybe there are so many condition covenants you can put. Declaring dividends, you can't declare dividend till you pay these loans, like that. Drawings, limiting the drawings by the directors, payment to the directors, etc. There are some of the conditions, some of the covenants. There are so whatever the suitable safeguards you have to provide. suitable safeguards you have to provide. So this is loan structuring. A simple loan structuring for you to understand. But now, in the case of a big corporate, so this here, of course, they purchase raw materials locally. In this one, they purchase the raw material locally and sell the products locally. They sell the products locally. So this example, the assumption, they purchase the raw material locally and sell the product locally. But if a company want to import raw materials, also they want to purchase locally raw material, produce items, sell locally as well as exporting. Then it will be more and more facilities you have to. So that we may do later. But now you have to understand this one. So we call it trade finance facilities. Trade finance facilities we have to provide. In that case, if a company want to import raw material, manufacture things, sell locally as well as abroad, as well as sending abroad, marketing. So then, of course, we have to provide trade finance facility for import as well as export. So more facilities will come in here. I have raised it right. So we may learn it. We may discuss that one later. So this is that you must understand the meaning of loan structuring. Then the collateral evaluation. The collateral evaluation, even in this consumer credit analysis, we have learned. If you go through the consumer credit analysis, you can see we have done the collateral, the requirement of the collateral, various things we have discussed. So that, of course, you have to remember here also. Obtain collateral with legal certainty to realize. That is, if anything goes wrong, you must realize the collateral. Legally, there should not be any cumbersome. So obtain collateral with legal certainty to realize if anything goes wrong. Select collateral with low deterioration with time and exposure. That is, if you are granting medium or long-term loan, then of course you must take a property mortgage. Select collateral with low deterioration. That is, if it is a property mortgage, then the deterioration is maybe not there. Low deterioration with time and exposure. Control the accessibility. So you must always be in a position to go and see and inspect the collateral. Review and update the collateral value with market fluctuation. There is a central bank requirement also there. Periodically, you have to review. You have to review the collateral value. You have to review the collateral value. Then mitigating, reducing risks in credit proposals. So I am always saying the credit proposal evaluation is risk evaluation. So you have to evaluate the risk in the credit proposal, and thereby you have to provide suitable safeguard to reduce the risk. That is, mitigating the risk or reduce the risk. You have to provide suitable safeguard by way of conditions or covenants. Adapting better credit appraisal techniques and identifying the risk factors, hazard, in the proposal and providing safeguards. Suitable collateral to cushion the risk. If there are any risks, of course, then you have to obtain the suitable collateral. Insurance of assets and whatever the all project assets should be insured. All project assets should be insured. Then monitoring and follow-up is very important. Pre and post-sanction supervision. That is pre and post-credit. That is before granting the loan and after granting the loan, you have to do the supervision. Pre and post-sanction supervision. Current monitoring the current accounts, local loan accounts, always very important. At the same time, local gossip also you have to, it may be helpful to you. It may be helpful to you, local gossips. Then we must see about the credit rating. What is credit rating? The process of assessing the credit worthiness of a customer, as well as his financial debt or obligation. It will indicate risk status of the entity or the debt instrument. The process of assessing the creditworthiness of a customer, that is credit rating, as well as his or her financial debt or obligation. Then, credit rating can be assigned to any entity that seeks to borrow money. If anybody wants to borrow money, so this credit rating can be assigned. So it can be an individual, it can be companies, it can be corporations and corporates, it can be provincial authorities, even governments also. Even government. Sometime back, even Sri Lanka, they got the credit rating for the government. For Sri Lanka, they got the credit rating done by an international credit rating agency. They have done for Sri Lanka. So even for the government also, you can do the credit rating. So anyone who intend to borrow, that can be done. This credit rating can be done. Anyone. Credit rating can be assigned to any entity that seeks to borrow money. Then it is done by credit rating agencies. So there are credit rating agencies. They are doing this credit rating. Alphabetic and alphanumeric rotations are used to denote the credit rating of entities. So they do the credit rating exercise and assign alpha or alphanumeric notations to show the rating. So it can be capital AAA or capital A, small AA or capital AA plus, like that, the rating. So these are the denoting. So by looking at this, what do they sometimes by saying that one, they are in a better position, that the entity which has been credit rated, their position, financial position, management position will be indicated by these ratings. Credit rating agencies, which are external agencies, globally, there are some big agencies. Globally, there are some big agencies, external agencies. We call it global agencies, big three. One is Standard & Poor. So this one has done Sri Lankan credit rating some time back. Standard & Poor, then Fitch International, Moody's Investors Services Limited. These are the big three credit rating agencies globally. So they handle more than 95% of the rating by these three. In the national agencies in Sri Lanka, Fitch Rating Lanka Limited, Lanka Rating Agencies Limited, formerly it was called as RAM Rating. Formerly it was called as RAM Rating, and then ICRA Lanka Limited, which is a subsidiary of the ICRA Limited India. In India, there is an ICRA Limited. They have their subsidiary in Sri Lanka also, which is called as ICRA Lanka Limited. They also do this credit rating in Sri Lanka. Type of credit rating. There are various types of credit rating. One is sovereign credit rating. That is for the countries. Then corporate credit rating. Big corporates. Then SME credit rating. SME is also credit rating. Retail customer credit rating. For the retail customers also, there is credit rating. Then the credit scoring that we have discussed earlier. Now our CRIP is doing the credit scoring for the individual customers. They give the credit scoring numbers when the individual customers, when they require. So credit scoring is now done by, in Sri Lanka, by the CRIP. And then long, medium, short-term credit rating also there. Long, medium, short-term credit rating also there. Right. In the internal credit rating of customers by financial institution. This is important. Under the Basel II, now Basel III is there, but under the Basel II, the central bank has directed the financial institutions in Sri Lanka to develop efficient mechanism for internal credit rating of their customers. So central bank has already advised the financial institution in Sri Lanka, banks and finance companies, you must rate their customers' internal credit rating. You have to do internal credit rating of your customers. So the financial institution now carry out internal credit rating by manual method or by computer-based operation and assign alphabetic and alphanumeric notation to indicate the risk status of the customers prior to granting any facility and also during the period of review as well as repayment. So before granting also, the financial institution in Sri Lanka, they have to internally rate their customers, and even after also during the repayment or during the review time, they have to rate their customers. Internal credit rating should be done by the financial institution in Sri Lanka about on their customers. That is internal credit rating. Types of internal credit rating. Yes, there are various types of internal credit rating. One is customer rating. Consumer credit customers, consumer credit, personal, SME, retail customers, corporate customers, all type of customers. Yes. Then the facility rating. Different type of facilities also rated. Whether it is housing loan or business loan or project loan. Yes, facility rating. And collateral rating also. Different type of collaterals also should be rated. Different types of collateral, property mortgage or cash deposit, that also should be rated. Internal rated. Different types of, yes. Right. So this is internal credit rating. So now almost all banks are doing. Everyone is doing because central bank direction. This has to be done. So you are working in different banks and financial institutions. So you better find out from your bank how do they do their internal credit rating. So you must be aware of this and you must know how do they do. Whether they are doing manually, I think almost all banks and all finance companies are doing computer-based internal credit rating. Maybe sometimes they may do manually also. So better find out from your own bank. So now this corporate credit evaluation, actually this corporate credit evaluation, what I told you today, what I discussed with you today is really a, what is it? A theory part. It is a theory part. So which you have to put it into your practice. But one thing I must tell now, the first one, environment analysis. And second one, industry analysis. These two are just common to the country. And the third one, that is competitive position within the industry, is relevant to the customer. So from there only, other analysis is relevant to the your customer. But the first two, that is environment analysis and the industry analysis, common to the country. So this, of course, at any time, you should be able to do it. How can you do it? You have to enhance your knowledge. The environment, about the environment, the pestle. You have to be always with the current information you have to keep. About the pestle analysis, economic situation, political situation, economic situation, social situation, technological situation. You must be aware with the current affairs. So how to do that? How to be aware with the current affairs? Reading the papers, watching the business news. So you have to be ordered. That's what continuously you should be updating your information by going through magazine, by going through papers, business article, and then even the internet, by going through. So you must be updating your knowledge on environment. Environment in the sense, pestle. Similarly, the industries, various industries. So you must have the information in your fingertip by always following it up, by always updating yourself, by going through various sources. Then, whenever there is a proposal come from your corporate customer, it will be easy. It will be easy for you because you know your environmental analysis, pestal analysis, you know. And then industry analysis, you know, if your customer is in the biscuit industry, you know about the biscuit industry, the competition and everything, you know. So you have to update your knowledge, especially in the first two cases, that is environment, pestal, and the industry evaluation. You must be always have updated information and knowledge. Okay, right. Now, thank you very much. I have only one more lecture. That is there, of course, I will be the credit packaging also I will be doing, and the preparation of credit memorandum. What you are doing, learning, everything. And finally, you have to get the approval from your higher authority. For that one, you have to prepare a proper credit memorandum. I'll be doing that one. Maybe at the later stage, I'll be taking that lecture. Okay, until such time, all the best, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.